welcome to my channel. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Zipporah if you're new here, and the purpose of this channel is to help by sharing my real life experiences being a God-fearing single mother of two. This video is specifically for my younger self. If you're not my younger self, keep on scrolling. Hi Zippy. I raised this lemon shallow to you for all the hardships that you endured, and although we didn't keep it classy at times, we made it by the grace of God. Here are some things that I would tell you if you were around, because you're not, because you're me and we're old. Let's address the elephant in the room, okay? Yes, she did get a haircut, and yes, it is uneven. Roll a clip. Is that straight? Good enough, dude. Oh! Are you serious? This one came out. That's so dumb. Yeah. The first thing on my list is figure out what you want out of life before you start chasing guys. Okay, let me just get comfy here. In my last video, I talked a little bit about how I was kind of the outcast in school. I mean, obviously it took a toll on my self-esteem and how I looked at myself. Girl, you was desperate. It started with my first boyfriend. I was the secret. Not to rag on him, we were literally children, but he never talked to me in public. Like, if we were around our friends even, or if we were at school, like, he just acted like I was not there. But whenever we were texting, it was like a whole different world. Like, what am I doing? Why don't you want to show me off? I've only met two people's parents. I've had, what, 5 relationships? Yeah, it was like it happened so much. I began to normalize that since I went so long in my life not having any attention from a male. Once I got it, I didn't ever want to not have it. I've noticed now how much of a distraction they really were. I need a guy who's not intimidated by the calling that I have on my life. So if you're out there, just kidding, obviously. I know that if I would have just focused on getting myself where I needed to be, I would be successful by now. Know your worth is more than just your body. I will have a whole video on my hoe season. If you really want to know, you just hang on a few weeks. Not to glorify that part of my life, but to share. You can sling dangling, okay? And we've made that the only criteria on our list. God has given me a whole new list for these dudes. You don't always have to have the last word. And I know my mom is probably praising the Lord right now because she has preached this at me my entire life. Sometimes you don't have to respond. Did you know that? I'm 27 years old. I just learned this a couple months ago. And I'm not even being dramatic. It's so much harder to not respond than just go off. I always had to have the last word. It didn't matter if it was so awful or even just okay. It is not cool to cut people down with your words. You will say stuff and not even remember. Meanwhile, the person that you said it to is crying. Proverbs 17:28. Even fools are thought wise if they keep silent, and discerning if they hold their tongues. That is a good thing about living for God. You don't have to carry all of this stuff by yourself, because it's not like you're not going to get mad. Oh, I live for God now, I'll never get mad at anybody. No, we're still human. I can just give it to him, ask him for some peace and for some understanding, and move on. So keep your mouth shut. Stop being so rude. You're not always right. This is another one I know my parents are just like, yes, thank you, Jesus. They know that God had to reveal this to me. Once you learn that you will always be learning, that's when you unlock the secret. The strong people are able to admit when they're wrong and apologize. For so long, I thought that was weakness. My feelings and the way that I reacted were always justified, but that's not true. When I'm wrong, I am able to look them in the eye and say, hey, you're right, I'm wrong, and I'm sorry. If mom can be wrong sometimes and be okay with it, then son can be wrong sometimes and be okay with it too. Not beat themselves up about it. There shouldn't be such a stigma around being wrong, like, oh, I'm not perfect. That's stupid. The only one who was perfect was Jesus. Out of the billions and billions of people on earth and that have lived since he was alive, that's a lot of wrong. So we shouldn't beat ourselves up for being wrong. Showing your feelings does not make you weak. Since I was a kid, I have always just stuffed them down. I didn't know how to do anything but get mad. When I had my children, it's like I felt for the first time. What, 22 years? worth of feelings that I had suppressed, that I didn't understand how to deal with. I had to learn about feelings. It's like I was in preschool again. This means you're happy. This means you're sad. It's okay to cry. It's not bad. That rhymed. When you suppress your feelings, they just come out in different ways. So you might freak out on somebody that doesn't deserve it, or cry when you should be happy. You can even make yourself sick. God gave us these feelings, and we are supposed to feel all of them. Let it out to God. He's there to listen. He's our Father. He wants to hear about every little detail. Nothing is meaningless or insignificant to him. God is not just about all of the things that you can't do. When I was growing up in the Pentecostal church, I was surrounded by lists and lists and lists of things that you couldn't do. I was never taught the exciting part about living for God. He is about a relationship, being a partner with us in this life. People always want to say, well, if there's a God, then how come all bad things happen to good people? If it wasn't for the bad times, some of us would never talk to him at all. He said that he would be there with us through those things. Otherwise, you will fall a victim to these evil spirits of depression and anxiety. He cares about you more than our parents and our loved ones ever could. And when you wrap your head around that, it will change your life. You won't care about what you can and can't do. When you drink, when you smoke, it won't satisfy you anymore. You will just want to get deeper into God's presence and learn about what he has for you. There's no end to God. You can never learn everything. You'll always be running after him. It's amazing. His peace is more calming than any antidepressant that you could take. No matter if it's 10 milligrams or 40, baby. You don't have to quit doing all these things overnight, but as you draw nearer to him, you won't want to do it anymore. You'll be throwing it away. What else can I rebuke out of my life? Who else can I cut off that's not serving me and you, Lord? Who else can I show? Because in this world we are hurting. Depression and suicide are running rampant in our world today. And it's a spirit. So many of us have been religiously traumatized. And so we run away from God. Get in his word. Nothing is new. All of these things that we deal with right now, they were happening back then. So when you read the word of God, he teaches you how to defeat these things. You don't have to smoke a doobie really? What am I, 40? You don't have to rip a bong. It's not funny. You don't have to do that to feel better. Like, you could come home from work, put your feet up, and be satisfied because you have the joy of the Lord. I know, I sound crazy. Trust me. I used to smoke all the time. My personality trait was being stoned for years. Don't base your eternity on any man. No human, no mom, no dad, no grandparent. Get in the word yourself. Get your own relationship with God. Our own quiet time with him. That's the only way. God is coming back for an unshakable kingdom. I'm not saying to not listen to your parents. And I'm not saying to condemn your parents either. If you read in the word and they're not doing something, pray about it. You're still their kid. You need to be respectful. But don't think that it's okay just because they are doing it. All my adulthood exes, if they ever saw this, they just would do backflips. I have been known to be quite messy. Some of you are gasping and could not imagine, and some of you are like, yeah, she's freaking gross. My dad was always a stickler about cleaning. I rebelled against it. When I had my own place, I would let it get messy until I just couldn't handle it, and I would freak out, have like a manic episode, and just clean everything OCD style. Then the cycle would repeat itself. That's how I lived, and it's very stressful. So I associated cleaning with always having a huge job to do. When I look back, I'm just like, what were you going through? Like, just pick up after yourself. You know, sometimes my kids feel like they're just my brother and sister. Then I'm like, oh, I'm the mom. I'm in charge of teaching them how to hold up a household. Show the people you love that you love them. It hits different. You letting somebody know that you see them and you're thankful that they're in your life could turn somebody's whole week around. Sometimes I think that we just expect everybody to know because we're family or we've been friends for 20 years. Dude, my eye is messed up. But it just feels good to hear. I love you. Hope we can get together soon. I know I've been a little distant. Things have been getting crazy over here. You know, just checking in. All these things that I would tell my younger self are revelations that I believe that God has given me so that my kids can benefit. Because they are essentially my younger self. Sometimes more than I would want them to be already. Sometimes it's still hard for me to accept love. My son tells me literally every 30 seconds sometimes, and I'm like, okay, Carson, I get it, you love me. Who gets annoyed with being showed love? I do. Me. But that's because I'm still getting used to accepting it. But the last and one of the most important, save your stinking money. When I started selling magazines at the age of 19, that was my very first job, and I will have plenty of videos about that. So don't you worry if you never have heard about me selling magazines. Very interesting. I think we went to about 33, 35 states, and the culture of that was we got paid every night, so why save? Plus, I worked in a factory for a long time, so I got paid every week. So it was like the same thing as getting paid every day, just about. I'm doing better now, but I used to feel like if I had money in my bank account, I had to spend it. Period. Learn more about money and save it. Pay your bills. It's not your family's job to bail you out of stuff. I guess I was never really made to be an adult, really up until I had my daughter. Oh, woe is me. What do I do? Help me. And then people would help me. I don't think it was on purpose all of the time. Some of the time it definitely was on purpose. Don't do that. Save your money, have your own back. Teach your kids to save their money. Don't take those student loans, because then you're gonna be in debt. That's not fun. I hope that you learned something, younger me and not younger me, if you are watching this against my wishes. Just kidding. Like if you like the video, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Comment something that you would tell your younger self, and subscribe, because I make videos every other week. I love you guys. I'm praying for all of you, and I'm happy that you're here. Sharing my testimony is helping me, even if it doesn't help anybody else. So I will see you next time. Have a great day. Bye.